feeling.
I heard a 6-month suspended jail sentence in lieu of a 12-month reporting probation. Counsel, did I hear that right?
Yes, Your
I
Honor.
believe so, Your Honor.
Mr. Myers?
So I'll have to report for 12 months?
Well, if I accept your plea agreement, yeah.
I thought my lawyer said 6 months.
No, I told you 6-month controlling sentence with 12 months reporting probation.
Okay, well, what does that exactly mean?
Well, let's put you two back in the breakout room again. Savannah?
Okay.
Oh, hell no.
Sir, was that a cat you just threw?
Yeah, she comes down off. Sorry.
Okay, sound like she hit kind of hard.
Good afternoon.
Are you Anthony Hayden?
I am, sir.
All right. This is State of Kansas versus Anthony Hayden. It's case number 2023 MR 151. I have limited information before me, Mr. Hayden, but it would appear that the Northampton District, State of Massachusetts, has made a demand for your surrender based on allegations there of threat to commit crime, telephone calls, electronic communications, harassment, stalking.
Am I allowed to speak?
Just a moment.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Your options are to either perhaps seek a writ of habeas corpus with the assistance of your lawyer, or you can waive extradition procedures, agree to return to the state of Massachusetts. It might expedite the handling of the matter. Then you would agree to return to the state of Massachusetts and face whatever it is that you face there. You understand that, Mr. Hayden?
There's a few words I don't understand. I'm sorry for that. Like habeas corpus, I don't understand what that means. But I just like to make a general statement. I left there 3 years ago. I haven't seen this girl or talked to this girl for 3 years. I moved 3,000 miles away.
All right.
I live
This
off
court
the
is,
street.
Mr.
Yeah.
Hayden, this court is not going to review the factual circumstances which underlie the crime because I can't determine your guilt or innocence or take
Right.
any action on it. That's
Sorry
up to
about
the state of Massachusetts to do. And I'm sure that you've got an explanation that you need to share with
Yeah.
Massachusetts officials, but I just need to determine whether you're agreeing to return to the state of Massachusetts or not.
Okay, so if I do agree to go back to Massachusetts by a court date, does that mean I can pick up my dog now and get my trailer and drive to Massachusetts and handle it?
No.
No, it does not.
No,
So
it
my
means-
dog is in.
It means our sheriff's office would notify the officials in the state of Massachusetts that you're available for pickup and transport to Massachusetts.
Okay, so what about my dog here and my trailer and my truck and everything I own? I was
Right.
looking at
I
land
doubt if
out
the state
here.
of Massachusetts is concerned with any of that.
Well, it's my dog. It's like my daughter. It's the love of my life. I mean, I'm concerned about my dog. So, I mean, you
Well,
put me in a
that's by the
position.
dedication to your animal, but the matter that we have before the court today is to determine whether you're going to return voluntarily to the state of Massachusetts or not, or if you want more formal extradition procedures to take place.
Well, I didn't get to
Let me
speak to an attorney, but no, I'm not just going to leave my dog out here and my truck and my car. No. So, no.
All right.
No.
So you're not going to waive extradition, and you are.
There is no
What do you
way
mean,
that there's no way that I'm leaving my dog, my truck, and my trailer in Kansas unattended. There's no way. So that's what that means. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make things difficult, Judge Ricky, but there's no. I'm never gonna leave my dog behind. I could lose the truck, I could lose the trailer, not Coco. I ain't leaving Coco.
I'm sure Coco appreciates that. Where's the
I
dog
love-
now?
Well, I can't get a straight answer. I have no idea where the dog is. I have no idea. Coco is
Were you
everything.
arrested? Were provisions made for the animal when you were arrested?
They took me away while Coco was sitting in the passenger seat. I don't know. I'm heartbroken. I'm very hurt about Coco, man. I don't even want to think about it. This girl, I haven't seen this girl in 3 years. I have nothing to do with this girl. This is crazy. But there's nothing that makes him more happy than me losing my trailer and losing Coco. I'll tell you that. And she's getting it. It's very hurtful. I just want to be left alone, man. That's why I live in the middle of nowhere.
Do you have the financial resources to hire your own lawyer to represent you on this?
No, I don't. This girl does. She comes from money. She's having sex with all my friends, sending pictures with semen on her face to me.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, all this shit, man. I just
You
want to be
can
left
save the
alone.
details.
I just want to be left alone, man. With my dog, on my own land that I purchased. That's it. This girl has money. She has lawyers. She has a business. I left her because she was mean. She's just super mean. And it's just carrying on for years now. I mean, it's just crazy. I broke up with her because she's mean and she's still being mean.
Mr. Regier, who will be handling this case for your office?
Your Honor, my understanding is that this case is assigned to Ms. Norris.
All right. Well, I hope Ms. Norris is available at the date I'm going to set. I'm going to set a review date on this case for Tuesday, October the 17th. And I'm looking at a 10 o'clock a.m. setting. So 10 o'clock a.m. on October the 17th. I will appoint James Watts to represent Mr. Hayden at that hearing. And I don't have any direction from the state of Massachusetts regarding bond at this time. The court will not be setting a bond in this case. And he'll be held in custody until his next hearing, which is October 17th at 10 o'clock. I hope your dog turns out okay,
Me too.
Mr. Hayden.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Uh,
This matter is currently in recess.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. What was the presiding judge on the 17th?
That will be in this court.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank
To
you.
be with me.
Have a good one, guys.
All right. Gabriel Fetters.
Yes, Your Honor.
This is State of Kansas versus Gabriel Michael Fetters, case number 2023 CR 228. Jared Regier again appearing for the state. Mr. Fetters from the jail Zoom location. The notes before the court would indicate that a first appearance was held in this case on June the 12th. Set a court date for September 11th. September 11 notes indicate Judge Webster conducted court, but the defendant failed to appear. A bond forfeiture bench warrant order issued, apparently with a $5,000 cash or professional surety bond attached to that warrant. It does make this court wonder why you didn't appear for your court date that was set, Mr. Fetters.
Your Honor, I have a lot of health issues going on. I have a lot of mental issues, and I've been spitting out blood. I can't eat without puking. So on my court date, I was getting dressed. I overslept, and my mom woke me up. And as soon as she woke me up, I tried calling to get to court. Like, it's not like I didn't want to go to court. I tried. I was on that phone for 2 hours trying to get to court, and I called my attorney about it. And on Friday when I got arrested, I had to call him at 3:25. So it's not like I understand that I missed court, but I tried. I stayed on the phone for 2 hours. I tried signing in, but then I realized that I missed it at 9:30, the time that I had to be there. But I tried. It's not like I was like, you know what, I'm going to miss court because I don't want to go. I did want to go. I just have a lot of.
Why didn't you call your attorney right after court then?
I did. And he told me to call back, and that's what I did. That's I waited for 2 hours. And he told me to call him on Friday at 3:25, and I was going to, but I got arrested that day at 10.
Of course, not inclined to modify the bond forfeiture bench warrant order under these circumstances. I'll leave it where it's set at $5,000 cash or professional surety required. I will set this case, or essentially reset this case, but I'll set this before Judge Lee on his docket, since it appears that Mr. Fetters very well may be in custody at that point, for October the 6th at 1:30 p.m. That's the quickest court date I can give you under the circumstances, Mr. Fetters. October 6th, 1:30 p.m., Judge Lee's court. That will be a Zoom court. And if you do make this bond, make sure that you are on this Zoom meeting. Talk to your attorney about your options for participation. Remember, that you can always appear at the Sallyport location, which is located at the Butler County Judicial Center, if your technology is poor. Mr. Fetters?
I just, can't get in contact with my mom.
All right, Mr. Regier, is there anything further we need to address here?
Your Honor, first off, if the court will pardon the presumption, it looks like there's already an order appointing counsel filed earlier this month with respect to Mr. Andrews, so I'm assuming he's the counsel of record. Additionally, I believe when the matter was previously before this court, Your Honor had ordered some special conditions as part of the 2,500 OR bond. I'm assuming those are the continued orders of the court as well.
You assume correctly.
Thank you.
This court has no intention of relaxing any previous restriction or condition that was imposed as part of the original bond. Let me look at the appointment order. Okay, for whatever reason, the first appearance notes indicate that Darren Patterson was appointed. There's no notes from 9/11 that there was a different attorney appointed, but I do see that there was an order filed on September the 6th, which did appoint Mr. Andrews. So there must have been a conflict issue or something. All right, Joshua Andrews remains appointed counsel then for Mr. Fetters.
Like, it's my first time being in jail. I'm not a bad guy. Like,
Well, that's true, Mr. Fetters, but you didn't appear in court, and quite frankly,
well,
you can't
the reason
operate.
why, I don't know how this stuff works. I don't know what a OR bar is. Like, I didn't know that. So I didn't know that I had to go to court. Like, I tried my best. I just have a lot of mental issues. I can't eat. I'm so skinny. It's stressing me out. And when I was out, I lived with my mom. Like, I lived in El Dorado all my life. And I was just
I'm not going to change any of my previous orders. I'm going to give you an expedited court date under these circumstances, October 6th at 1:30 p.m. with Judge Lee. And then you and your attorney can address the court at that time if you're seeking any bond modification. Because at this time, the court is not inclined to grant any.
So you can't let me go on probation?
No, you're not going to get released today unless you post the $5,000 cash or surety bond that's been established in the case.
What about 500?
I'm not going to negotiate with you. This is a bond set by the presiding judge, and the court's going to honor it. If there's nothing further on this case, then the Fetters matter will be in recess. And again, we'll move on to another case.
Appointment at 12:30. They're wanting to get their case done.
Sure. Who is it?
Travis McWilliam.
All right, Mr. McWilliam, why don't you join us? Hoping we can get that on by then, but
I'm here, Your Honor.
we'll take you up, Mr. McWilliam. You can find a place to sit. That would help. We're on the record in 2023 TR 208, State of Kansas versus Travis Ray Leon McWilliam. Please announce appearances.
State appears by Assistant County Attorney Devin Canfield.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Travis McWilliam. Mr. McWilliam does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, there's an amended information filed May 2nd, 2023. To that amended information, Mr. McWilliams would enter a plea of no contest to driving while habitual violator.
Mr. McWilliam, how do you plead to driving after being declared an habitual violator?
I really don't even understand what's going on. So
All right.
that is why I have a power of attorney.
Okay. Is your power of
I
attorney?
am incompetent for understanding what is going on.
All right. Is your power of attorney with you today? The person?
Supposed to be.
Yes, Your Honor, I am here.
And you
I
are
am Travis's mother.
okay. Has he been declared legally incapable of taking care of himself?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you have paperwork showing that you're appointed guardian?
I am his power of attorney.
Well, how did you get a power of attorney if he's not competent to sign legal documents?
We did this through, he signed at that time. He was released from Larned State Hospital. And after that, he signed papers. They agreed that he could sign those.
Well, I'm going to need to have a little more information on this situation. Mr. Patterson, having worked with you for many years, you usually, if you have a sense of this, you bring it up to the court yourself.
Judge, I would tell the court that what I would be recommending, if I felt necessary, would be a competency evaluation for somebody who does not understand. I've tell the court the contact I've had with Mr. McWilliam, it appeared he did have the ability to understand this is court, that I'm his attorney, that there are charges, that he knows there's a judge, that the minimum standards seem to have been met by me. So I haven't recommended it. But if we get crosswise here, I understand he does have somebody who he's signed a power of attorney for, his mother. I guess if we get to a point where we can't proceed, I would ask to proceed with a competence evaluation.
Well, there's a big difference between somebody signing a power of attorney and then being declared in need of a guardian and conservator. And I don't hear that she's guardian conservator, but just that he put her in charge of his, finances or his body, or what has he given you authority? Well,
everything, Your Honor. He speak on his behalf. He is autistic and he has issues with speaking. He has issues with understanding certain things. We try to explain them to him in a simplistic manner.
Does he have a high school diploma?
No, Your Honor.
How old is he?
He'll be 30 in December.
All right. And has he ever held a job?
No, Your Honor.
Does he live at home with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
You said he's been to the state hospital in Osawatomie?
No, at Larned.
At Larned? How long was he there?
He was there for 10 days.
And then they released him
into my custody.
Did they say he was in need of further treatment when they released him?
No, Your Honor. They released him. He's had several court incidents that we've had to deal with.
Well, the fact that he's on the autism spectrum doesn't mean that he's incompetent. I understand Elon Musk is on the spectrum. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm saying there are a lot of brilliant people that are, and it doesn't incapacitate them. So
we just have to simplify things to him, spell things out completely in the simplest manner possible.
Okay, so he can't understand, as Mr. Patterson said. Well, I'm not going to take any chances on it. I'm going to order an evaluation. Where does he live? To what?
Close to Pratt.
Okay. How close to Pratt? Like how time frame?
About 30 miles from Pratt.
Which direction?
We're east of Pratt. Sorry. I have to stop
that puts you closer to us. And how far are you from El Dorado?
About an hour and a half.
Well, the person I usually have do these evaluations is a gentleman called Michael Countryman. His name is Michael Countryman. And is he with South Central, or is he in a different facility?
Judge, he's the administrator of South Central Mental Health now, but what I would ask the court to do is we'll prepare an order for the competence evaluation, but I'll talk with Mr. Countryman first. He may recommend the mental health facility in the county where Mr. McWilliams lives. But whatever Mr. Countryman would suggest is probably what we'd finish in the order and send to the court.
Okay. Well, that's what we'll order. He's going to have to get an evaluation to determine his competency, and I'm going to rely on you to help him. It's Pam McWilliam?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll set this over to whatever date you have next, Savannah, December
4th, Your Honor.
December 4th.
Your Honor, can we ask for a different date than that? That is my son's birth date.
Okay. We can do December 11th.
Thank you.
Well, it could have been a good day for him. December 11th at 9. Okay, that's what we'll do. It'll be by Zoom again. Actually, I'll want him at 8, Mr. Patterson.
8, Judge, but also could we have Ms. McWilliams call my office, provide contact information so we can get a hold of them?
Okay, can I have that number, please?
316-322-7700.
All right. Okay,
All right, if there's nothing further, Travis and Pam McWilliam are excused.
thank you.
You're welcome. We're on the record in 2021 CR 433, State of Kansas versus Crystal Dawn Haynes. Please announce appearances.
State appears by Assistant County Attorney Devin Canfield.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Crystal Haynes. Ms. Haynes does appear from the courthouse Sally Port. Your Honor, this is a warrant to show cause. I would tell the court that I have reviewed the warrant to show cause with Ms. Haynes. She does stipulate in waive hearing, stipulate that she has not paid the case, that she has not reported as directed to her probation officer. And I would tell the court that upon the court accepting waiver, finding violations, there's an agreed recommendation to give her credit for the time she's now served as a sanction and place her back on probation for 1 year from today's date. She's had some trouble reporting because she has been homeless, Judge. I've discussed that with her, and I think she understands now that's not an excuse for not reporting, that she has responsibilities to the court to carry out, and she assures me that going forward, she will carry those out. Thank you.
Mr. Canfield, anything you want to say before we proceed?
No, Your Honor, the state has no objection.
Mr. Patterson, tell me again, she had an original 6-month sentence and you're agreeing to modify it to what period?
Judge, it's not a modification. It's to give her credit for the time she served as a sanction and then place her back on for 1 year reporting to complete her original conditions. I can tell the court that this time, she has now been in jail since September 11th.
Ms. Donovan, are you by chance here for this case on Ms. Haynes?
Your Honor, I am. I'll be honest, I was not subpoenaed for this hearing and just learned of it. I received a subpoena for another court date, so I wasn't actually prepared.
And again, Judge, I apologize. That's my fault. We're going to change how we do that. And on PVs, make sure the probation officers get notified of these motions.
Yes, that's good. All right, that'll be the order. So Ms. Haynes is going to, as I understand it, waive her right to hearing and stipulate to the violations alleged. The parties are going to jointly recommend that she get credit for time served since September 11th as a sanction, and then go back on for a year for this charge of trespass. Ms. Donovan, anything you want to say about this before I proceed?
Your Honor, just that I've not had contact with the defendant for quite some time. I'm not sure how successful she's going to be, given that she's not seemed to take this probation very seriously, but I will leave that to the court's discretion.
Ms. Haynes, do you understand that I do not have to follow plea agreements? I usually do, but I don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that you have a right to a hearing with the burden on the state to prove these violations alleged?
Yes.
And that if they cannot do so, then the court would not find you in probation or revoke it?
Yes.
Knowing this, is it correct, as your attorney said, that you wish to waive your right to hearing and admit that you violated your probation as alleged in Ms. Donovan's warrant or request?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Ms. Donovan says when she filed this December 12th, 2022, almost a year ago, that you had failed to pay your court costs, your restitution, and your attorney fees as directed. Are you agreeing to that?
Yes, ma'am.
So out of your $867.61, even though this warrant's been pending almost a year, you still haven't paid anything?
No, I have not.
Ms. Donovan is also saying that you didn't report as you were required September 13th of 2022, October 2022, November 2022, or December 22. And then she just added orally today that even after that, she's never seen you. Are you agreeing to that?
Yes.
So I put you on probation back there November. I think you were sentenced November 20th. Is that right? Or December? Was she put on probation in 20 or 22? It'd be 22.
22, Your Honor.
Ms. Donovan's also saying that she attempted to make contact with you by telephone and send you a violation notice to the address you'd given her. She did that October 17th of 2022, but you didn't respond. Did you respond to any of her correspondence?
No, ma'am, I did not receive the letter and I have not been able to have a phone.
Okay. And is anyone making you waive this right to hearing and stipulation today?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I will find that you freely and knowingly entered this waiver of hearing and stipulation, and I will find that you have violated your probation. Ms. Haynes, I'm really skeptical of whether you'll complete probation because you've had all of this time to get it done. You didn't take it seriously enough to at least contact Ms. Donovan. And in your file, it looks like you didn't come to court a lot of the time either. So I'm just wondering what's going to be different if I put you back on probation.
Me being in here has been a eye-opener, and I'm like going to be a grandma in the next 2 months. So it's time.
You're not going to be what in the next 2 months?
A grandma.
And that has what effect on you?
It has a big effect on my life. Family is a big, important thing to me. So.
How many children do you have?
3.
Is this the first grandchild?
Yes.
Where will you live?
Right now, I guess in Douglas with my mom. And if not,
your face made me think that kind of took you off guard. You hadn't thought about where you were going to live, am I right?
right. I thought about going to a woman's shelter out of here. And then if that doesn't work, my mom said I could stay with her in Douglas, but we don't have the best relationship sometimes.
So if you live in Douglas, how are you going to report to probation?
A phone.
What if she wants you in person to come, say, do a UA?
I will make that happen.
How will you do that since you weren't able to all this time?
I'll make sure it happens. I'll get a ride.
Is your license suspended?
Yes, right now it is. Embarrassing. Yeah.
Why is it suspended?
I didn't pay a ticket.
So if you pay the ticket and suspension fees, you maybe can get your license back?
Yes.
How long ago was the ticket?
About a year ago.
How much do you owe?
I'm going to say a $100 ticket plus probably an SR22 for insurance, and then to get my tags on my car. Probably a total of $400 to get me back on the road.
So that's probably not going to happen too soon. Do you have a high school diploma?
Yes.
Any college education or other training?
Yeah, I have associates in business management and I'm a licensed cosmetologist.
Okay.
So I just need to get myself back to work.
Well, if you and your mom don't get along very well, are you gonna try to do what you have to get along with her?
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any drugs or alcohol in her house?
No, ma'am.
What's your mom's name?
Trudy.
What?
Trudy Haynes.
Oh, Trudy Haynes?
Yes.
Well, I know Trudy's had some issues of her own.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we don't get along sometimes. But...
I'm not so sure it would be good for you to live with Trudy.
Okay.
But you're going to have some place to stay.
Well, my sister, she lives in Augusta. Or honestly, I'm not going to lie. I've always had my own place. So I've never relied on anybody else. So I got that pamphlet because I went to mental health little class that you guys had here, and they gave out a pamphlet, and it had all the resources of housing and everything else. And there was the Butler County women's shelter or whatever. So I was going to call them and see if they had.
What I'm thinking before I let you out, I need a plan for where you're going to go.
Right.
Because I want you to be successful if you go out on probation. I don't want you getting into trouble. I don't want you and your mom having a fist fight.
Right.
I don't want you drinking or drugging together.
Yeah. Well, my sister, like I said, she lives in Augusta.
What's your sister's name?
Actually, I have my Uncle Terry. He lives in Augusta as well.
Terry Haynes?
TJ Haynes is my sister, but just Terry Joe Haynes is her real name. And then my Uncle Terry, he lives around the corner. And he lives by himself.
Miss Donovan, any suggestions?
Your Honor, regarding disposition or regarding?
Disposition, if you think.
Your Honor, my concern is apparently Ms. Haynes has not been stable up to this point, and it's still an ongoing issue. I just have concerns about her ability to be successful if she does not have some sort of stability, housing of some sort, even a shelter that's guaranteed. I fully believe that these struggles have contributed to this probation violation. And so if there's not something in place to help her be successful, I'm just not sure how she's going to do it.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I know that I have not proven myself, but give me an opportunity, because this is the way my life's been my whole life. I never have ever not been able to overcome an obstacle, pretty much. So I wasn't taking it seriously. I know I've been homeless before with my 3 kids, and I was able to get a home, get a job, work, and make it happen. So I just have myself to take care of right now. So I can do it. I just need to do it.
Well, I want to give you a chance too, but I think if we just open the door and say go today, we're not doing you any favors because you don't have the resources. I'm going to set over disposition to give you a chance to do that, to get your, like Ms. Donovan said, even a homeless shelter or a halfway house, like an Oxford house or the one down in Sedan. I think it's called Hannah's Hope, I heard yesterday. But someplace that you can actually walk out the door and get to and start getting some help on the issues you need help. But disposition will be set over. Mr. Patterson, you know how busy we are Monday. Do you want to try to squeeze her on there Monday? Or otherwise, I think Savannah said it's going to be like 3 weeks. And maybe she needs 3 weeks to get settled.
Can I just...
Judge, whatever court date you want to give, I'll be ready next week if you want to do it then or whenever the court wants to set it.
You think a week would give you time to set up something?
Yeah.
Right. Well, it won't hurt to, other than we're swamped Monday with jury trial, pre-trials. It won't hurt just to see where you are on it. So maybe squeeze her in there, counsel?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Sorry to do that, Savannah, but you want her at 8 a.m.?
Yes, Judge.
8 a.m. on Monday, the October 2nd? Okay. What'd you say, Savannah?
Yes, that's when it is, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's what we'll do. We'll let you make some calls, look at that pamphlet and see what you can do and check out one of those halfway houses or shelters, and we'll go from there. Ms. Donovan, I never even asked, are you available Monday morning?
Your Honor, I actually will not be in the office. However, I can have someone from our office appear for me if that's sufficient.
That would be sufficient. Thank you.
Put in place. I mean, I really would like to get out today. That way I can follow my plan, because all it takes is money. I have jobs I've been applying for. I feel like that's just going to be a waste of time for me because I already done all that. the whole time I've been in here. I've worked-
That is not a good attitude. That is not the attitude that will help you.
And it's like me sitting in here.
You haven't done it all, or you would be in a position to tell me who you were going to live with, where you're going to get treatment, and it wouldn't be with somebody that would be
because I don't.
I don't want you to be a hindrance to somebody, and I don't want them to be a hindrance to you. So I suggest you go now quietly and get your information to show me your plan. I want a plan. Okay? All right, you may go.
State of Michigan versus Gene Dog Martis, case number 22S00382.
Rachel, Deputy for the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Marcia Cringe on behalf of Mr. Martis. Mr. Martis, can you please state your name?
Martis.
Good morning, Mr. Martis. All right. In this particular matter, I believe that Mr. Martis was arraigned on the violation before me, and then he was supposed to come to court, and then he didn't come to court on September 12th, and then he got picked up in the interim time and was arraigned before the magistrate on September the 19th. Mr. Martis, the allegations are that you were discharged from the MRT program on May 12th. You failed the drug test as directed, last testing on May 2nd, failed to report to probation for the past 90 days. That is a non-technical violation, which means that you could be subjected to the original maximum penalty. With your client, and you have a right to have a hearing on these matters, at which time, if it is found that you did violate, you could be subjected to the original penalty, or if you admit to it. What would your client to do?
Your Honor, during this time period, there's been a breakdown in the attorney-client relationship. I'll be asking the court's permission to withdraw from this case.
And Your Honor, if I'm not mistaken, was Mr. Martis already arraigned on those violations, but we have the new one with the fentanyl result?
I think you're right. I was looking for that. I know I read it somewhere, but I don't. Ms. Johnson, is there another report?
Good morning. So the violation that you read was the first violation, and then he has a second violation, which is the positive fentanyl test.
I can forward it.
Is it in the form of the probation violation? Because I think I'm just missing it in the file. I know I saw it somewhere, and I signed it, I thought. But what was the day of the test? You can forward it, but I'll just arraign him on that too.
September 11th was the test.
All right. Sir, there is also an allegation that you tested positive for fentanyl on September the 11th, 2023. That is another violation of your probation.
What are the violations?
I just told you them.
I know what's the first one? The MRT? The MRT?
The MRT program, you discharged on May 12th. You failed the test as directed, lab tests for May 2nd, and that you failed to actually report to probation for the past 90 days.
Okay, well, yeah, we discussed that at the last arraignment, and as far as after that arraignment, I did pissed dirty at community corrections.
Mr. Martis, I would advise you not to say anything at this point, okay? Because anything you say, you're on the record, can be used. So I would.
Can I see counsel in the breakout room?
Sure.
All right, we're back on the record on the Gene Dog Martis matter. Mr. Martis, your attorney is requesting to be able to withdraw from your case. She's indicating that there's been a breakdown in the attorney-client relationship. Are you aware of that, sir?
Yes, sure.
Do you believe that there's been a breakdown in the attorney-client relationship?
No, not really, but I keep messing up. So I mean, yeah.
All right, Ms. Crater, your client does not feel as though there's been a breakdown in the attorney-client relationship. He does acknowledge that he keeps messing up.
I made my arguments to the court. I'll leave it to the court's discretion. I have nothing really more to add. This is a complicated case, and he keeps complicating it relative to his immigration status. I don't want to put my conversations out there on that I've explained to the court out on YouTube, so I have nothing more to say than what I've said at the bench conference.
All right, thank you. Anything from the people?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
All right. The nature of an attorney-client relationship is complicated. I think that, given the arguments that you've made, Ms. Cracher, in terms of why you think there's been a breakdown, it sounds like Mr. Martis has a severe addiction. That is what his problem is. He has a substance use disorder that he can't get under control, which does complicate his case. However, I don't think that it necessarily means that there's a breakdown in the attorney-client relationship. I think that if you're telling me based on those complications, you don't think you can manage this, that's different. But I think that he understands what his problem is. And I think that he doesn't feel that there's a breakdown, and he will continue to treat you as his attorney. So I'm going to deny that request.
Well, then going forward, Your Honor, I would ask for an adjournment in this proceeding as I can make contact with an immigration lawyer, which, because I'm retained, his family has to pay for and come up with funds for. That's also an issue. I cannot continue to give immigration legal advice. And so I would ask for a month adjournment in order to have his family secure funds, because my concern, Your Honor, is as follows. I don't believe that a violation of probation is a crime. Okay, it's not a criminal. It's an incarceratable act, but it's not an actual crime. But when he starts admitting to using fentanyl on the record, that is something that I am not sure of the effect of his immigration status. Okay,
I can appreciate that.
Okay, and then further, we have an issue up at circuit court where we were able to have his plea withdrawn in a pretrial settlement matter, and we were negotiating a resolution in that matter. And then the positive test for fentanyl came up, which pretty much really complicated those negotiations. With that case, what got him deported was his plea to the use of fentanyl. Okay, well, put him in federal detention. So it has a lot of immigration overtones here, which require input from an immigration lawyer, which requires money, or finding a pro bono immigration lawyer to help him out, which I do not know of any. I've been asking around, but I've not been able to find any. That's the crux of this. As far as him being in the Washington County Jail, I would ask the court to consider the following: release him to Dawn Farms inpatient treatment program when a bed's open. I've had a discussion with my client about that, and I believe he's open to that. And for the following reasons. First of all, I don't believe that the Washington County Jail is having AA or NA meetings due to COVID and staff issues. Further, I believe that having him in a setting at Dawn Farms inpatient on Dawn Farms facility allows him to be more open and free about his recovery and issues that he's dealing with versus having to have those in the jail and, going back to the block. So, with that being said, I'll leave it. That's all I have to say about that. Clearly, the court, he does have an addiction. We need to get him on the path to handling that. and either the Dawn Farms in jail program or out sending them to sending them to the inpatient program when the bed opens is what I would suggest. I know the court's feeling on fentanyl in this matter. I know that's why I'm not asking for a PR bond or anything outside of treatment.
Thank you. Ms. McDuffie?
I don't have any objections to a release to inpatient. I'm not sure about the status, as Ms. Kracher mentioned, with the situation in the jail, if they're still doing Dawn Farm jail or not. But I do want to confirm a couple of things for the record. One, on September 7th, Mr. Martis has admitted to the first set of violations regarding MRT and the other things, and we had him set for a hearing on that. Actually, I think he did admit to those. We had a hearing set for him on October 12th. So my understanding is that based on everything that we've discussed today, that although Mr. Martis did make some statements on the records, we are not treating that as an admission to the VOP at this point. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So no objection to, again, to release the inpatient if that's something that's available. And I guess I'm just curious about whether or not we're going to keep that October 12th date at this point.
I think that would be prevent any objections from probation to that.
I have no objections with that, Your Honor.
Yeah. I will leave it on for the October 12th date, which is, pretty almost, it's not quite. No. Do you think that'll be enough time, Ms. Kracher, or you really need the month?
I really need the month, Your Honor, because I have to now, since I'm
I hear you. All right. So
Can I say something?
actually, if you're not pleading guilty today, sir, you cannot really say much today. I'll do the October 23rd date instead. We'll just change it all to October 23rd. Does that work with your calendar, Ms. Kracher?
That's what I'm checking right now, Your Honor. Your Honor, that does not work. I have a hearing at 9 a.m.
What type of hearing, please?
It's an evidentiary hearing for a family court matter.
How about October 16th?
At what time, Your Honor? Sorry.
I could do 10, I could do 11. You can do whatever you need other than afternoon.
Okay, let's set it for 11 o'clock, Your Honor.
October 16th, 2023 at 11 a.m. I will allow you to be
I messed up one time. I don't have an addiction problem. I just messed up one time. I've been clean for a whole year. I just want to put that on the record.
Yeah.
I know I messed up though, and
That is the problem, that you don't even recognize that you have one, Mr. Martis.
no, I understand. That's why I took upon myself to stay sober for a whole year.
You need to stop talking like your attorney advised you to, because anything you say here can be used in other courts.
Okay.
You may be released to Dawn Farm with a GPS tether prior to release.
How long do I have left on probation?
You can talk to your probation agent about that. How long you have left to us on probation is probably the least of your concerns right now, Mr. Martis. Your concerns should really be about your felony and whether you're getting deported. Those are huge concerns.
That's why I want to get out so I can get to that, because I don't know how I'm gonna get the funds from my attorneys if I can't work. That's why I'm trying to talk and put things on the record so I can hopefully get out, not to inpatient, because that's not what
I just said you could be released to inpatient.
Sorry, what?
I just said that you could be released to inpatient, Mr. Martis.
Right, so I have to be in a program, right? And I can't leave I can't leave and work.
You can't work if you're dead.
I understand. I understand.
Okay.
I hear you.
You hand me my screen box.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Ma'am? Ma'am? Can you hear it?
No.
Okay.
I have no patience for that. And trust me, out of the day,
I'm sitting up here, I'm the one that needs the drink.